It's a new year, a new dawn, a time to reflect on a year's worth of yesterdays. The good and the bad. The opportunities and challenges that now lie in the past. With these achievements and struggles in our minds, we're faced with the question, what next? What will my work be like this year? What will happen in our nation? What difficulties and changes will I face in these coming months? The answer is always found, not with what, but who. Who is the one that can heal our hurt? Who has blessed me so immensely in the past? Who gives us freedom from sin and darkness and walks with us through every uncertainty? Jesus is with us through every unknown. He is sovereign over all we will encounter, and seeking Him is the answer to every what, where, how, and when. It's in His hands that we rest. In His strength we prepare. By His grace we welcome a new day and a new year.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Welcome. We are very, very excited. If you came for some traditional worship music this morning, sorry, you're not going to get it. We're saving all those Christian ballads for closer to Easter. We love them. But February is for friends. So I'm going to invite you guys to stand up with us. You do not have to. But through the whole month, we're going to be playing some fun songs. Most of them are going to be related to friendship or the actual series itself. We're going to be doing some trivia throughout. And yeah, this is a time to just relax and have some fun with all your friends here at the table.
1, 2, 3, 4. When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. If the sky that we look upon should tumble and fall, or the mountains should crumble to the sea, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear. Just as long as you stand by me. And darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand now. Stand by me. Stand by me. And darling, darling, stand by me. Whoa, stand by me. Oh, won't you stand by me? stand by me. Whenever you're in trouble, won't you stand by me? Whoa, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me.
How many of you, by a show of hands, watched the series Friends? Awesome. Okay, I love it. So, get ready. This one was fitting for today. Are we Seahawks or are we Patriots? Y'all are my people. Here we are. Yes, you'll find us here at the table. So, what Super Bowl TV ad did Marcel star in? No? Does anybody know? Monkey Shine Beer. I didn't remember that one actually. I thought that was good. All right, let's see here. Oh, what night of the week did Friends regularly air on? Thursday. Yes, nice job. All right. You know what? We're gonna do one we've done more recently, and just want to see you guys snuggling in together with all your friends.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's sorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those needs of yours that you won't let show.
You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just just call me.
Just call me.
When you need a friend. Oh, baby, just call me when you need a friend. If you need a friend. Oh, now just call me if you need a friend. Oh, just call me.
That's good. I think the next one's gonna be really obvious. What is the theme song for Friends? I'll be there for you. Okay, so no one told you life was gonna be this way.
How many claps?
How many? That's what I want to see. There's a debate. Is it 4 or is it 5?
4.
Oh, we've got 2 fivers here. What a bunch of weirdos.
Well, there's people that say 5, and then there's those that are right that say 4, so 4 it is.
So, yes, so let's get a good practice in. So no one told you life was gonna be this way. Perfect. I think they're ready.
1, 2, 3, 4. See, no one told you life was gonna be this way. Your job's a joke, you broke. Your love life's DOA. It's like you're always stuck in second gear.
But when it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, or even your year, but I'll be there for you.
When the rain starts to
I'll
pour,
be there for you.
like I've been there
I'll
before.
be there for you.
'Cause you're there for me too.
You're still in bed at 10 and work begin at 8. You burned your breakfast so far, things are going great. Your mother
Mother warned you there'd be days like this.
but she didn't tell you when the world was brought down to your knees. And I'll be there for you.
When the rain starts to
I'll
fall,
be there for you.
and like I've been there
I'll
before.
be there for you.
'Cause you're there for me too. No one could ever know me. No one could ever see me. Seems you're the only one who knows what it's like to be me. Someone to face the day with, make it through all the mess with. Someone I'll always laugh with, even at my worst
Not
moment.
mess with you.
It's like you're always stuck in second gear. When it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, or even your year. I'll be there for you when the rain starts to
I'll
fall.
be there for you.
Like I've been there
I'll
before.
be there for you.
I'm so there for me too. I'll be there for you. I'll be there for you. I'll be there for you. 'Cause you're there for me too.
I'm excited to perfect that one over the series. It'll be fun to see where we started and dress for Ross and Rachel's baby? Does anybody know? Could somebody say it? No, but that would be, I feel like that would make sense. Phoebo. It just made me laugh. Phoebo. Phoebe wants to name the baby Phoebo. Whoa. How many different categories of towels does Monica own? 11. Yes, 11. Nice job. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to wrap up the trivia, and I'm going to stop talking so that Mike can come up here and tell you all about our series. But would you all bow your heads and pray with me? God, thank you so much for the opportunity for all of us to be here together this morning. It's going to be exciting over the next couple weeks. I hope that we really get a sense of our community here at the table, and we pray that we can use these poker chips that we learned about last week and invite people to our Friends series, and hopefully we all make some more new friends in the process. Amen.
Guys, do you realize that any minute now, Fifi could be pregnant?
Oh, I know. It's such a huge, life-altering thing.
The test is ready. Okay, each team will answer 10 questions. The first team to answer the most questions wins. The categories are fears and pet peeves, ancient history, literature, and it's all relative. Now, the coin toss to see who goes first. Okay, somebody call it this time.
Tails!
It's head. Gentlemen, pick your category.
Fears and pet peeves.
What is Monica's biggest pet peeve?
Animals dressed as humans.
That's correct. Ladies,
Same category.
according to Chandler, what phenomenon scares the bejesus out of him?
Michael Flatley, Lord of the Dance.
That is correct.
The Irish jig guy? His legs flail about as if independent from his body.
Gentlemen, your pick.
It's all relative.
Monica and I had a grandmother who died. You both went to her funeral. Name that grandmother.
Nana? She has a real name.
Althea!
Althea, what are you doing? I took a shot. You're shooting with Althea?
Althea is correct.
Nice shooting.
We'll take literature.
Every week, the TV guide comes to Chandler and Joey's apartment. What name appears on the address label?
Oh, Chandler gets it. It's Chandler Bing. No.
I'm afraid the TV guide comes to Chenandeler Bog.
I knew that. Rachel, use your head.
Actually, it's Miss Chenandler Bond.
Hey guys, do you realize that any minute now, Fifi could be pregnant?
I know.
Oh, good morning. You gotta love technology sometimes, right? My name is Michael Scott, and I want to thank everybody for being here. It looks a little different in here this morning. We got some couches. We got the couch down here. I want everybody to know that Shelly and I spent a lot of time creating this door. So my buddy has a 3D printer that he 3D printed that picture frame. Jeremy found this doorbell-looking thing, and I think, who painted it? Chris, did you paint it? It was a team effort to come up with all these stage designs, and Shelly bought all these fun little friend things. So I thought, it's be really cool. And look at Stacy. Stacy's got her feet kicked up, like she's good to go. Maybe we should bring in some more couches. What do y'all think, right? Yeah, let's have some fun with that. Now, Steve's joining her. I love this. This morning, we're kicking off a new series based on the show Friends. life's pretty heavy right now. There's a lot of things that we could look at and watch, and it's dividing us. And church should be one of those things that talks about those issues, and we do. You've heard me talk about all of them, and we'll continue to do that. But also, church is the thing that brings us together, that causes us to smile, that causes us to be like, you know what? This is all worth it. And so for the next 4 weeks, I want to start digging into how does the show Friends relate to our lives? How does it relate to the Bible? How does it speak to our spirituality? And how does it inform our Christianity? Now, how many of you watched, and I know Shelly asked, how many of you watched Friends as it was coming out in the 90s? Like you, because for you young people, we couldn't stream it. We had to like be in front of the TV, right, ready at 7 o'clock or whatever. I think it was 7. Who remembers? Anybody remember what time it came on? Was it Mondays at 7, I think? Thursdays at 7. Look at you, man. You're on it. All right, so Thursdays at 7. So Stacy and I have been together 25 years this month, right? This month, yeah, 25 years. And so we, when we were just starting a family, actually before we were married, we were just dating. There was 4 couple friends. There was Stacy and I, Brooke and Jared, Megan and Derek, and Robbie and, well, Robbie and his ex-wife aren't a part of the group anymore because they got divorced and we lost them in the divorce. So, but there was 4 of us couples, and all of us had some had 2 kids. And so we'd all get together, and we'd take turns making dinner, and we met at my friend Megan and Derek's house because they had the biggest house at the time. And I say biggest house at the time, you know, we're in our 20s, early 20s, and this was like a 900 square foot house. It was a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, and we would cram everybody into a room about, if you were to square this off right here, probably like 300 or 400 square feet. And there would be like 6 kids and 8 adults. And every Thursday we would get together and we would watch Friends as it came out, right? So how many seasons were there? 10? 10, so 10 years it was on the air. So we didn't do it the whole time because I think it came out in like 93 maybe-ish, and then it ended in 2003. Is that right? I should have my facts together, but I don't. So, I thought, you know, it changed my life. It really did. And not just the show, but like our core friend group. There's still 6 of us that get together all the time. And so I have so many core memories, and my kids have so many core memories from getting together and watching Friends and laughing hysterically. Honestly, it was a much easier time. I think a lot of us probably think that, right? Earlier on in life seems easier sometimes. I don't know. When my kids were young, it was difficult because I was just a human taxi for, I think, 25 years. And now we're pretty much empty nesters, so we're in this new phase of life. But we wanted to go back and say, how does Friends relate to our lives today? Now, this is a multi-generational thing. We watched it as it was coming out. My kids love to watch it. Now, what I don't know, you know, Shelly and I give Steve a hard time all the time. Steve's our token boomer, right? He's our only boomer here, I think. And so he's our token boomer. Do we have 2? Miss Allison looked at me like, you're wrong, I'm also, okay. So, but you've seen Friends. So have you seen Friends yet, Steve?
I watched Beverly Hillbillies.
Beverly Hillbillies, oh, here we go. Steve has never seen, just wait, here in a few weeks, we're dressing Steve up in something really fun. I know, that's why, but so he's finding out as you all are finding out. We bought a fun outfit for Steve that we hope he wears, so guilt and shame him into it, everybody, okay? But we have a fun outfit for Steve or somebody to wear. It might end up being me if Steve doesn't want to do it, but it is a fun outfit. And it relates to a Friends show that you have no idea what it is because you don't watch Friends. So Steve's learning about all these concepts in real time here at the table, Blue Springs. But I hope the goal is to have a little fun. The goal is to sing songs that we all know. And the goal is to hopefully have a little levity in our lives right now. Because I don't know about you, but life just seems hard right now. Anybody else feel that a little bit? It feels heavy. And it feels difficult. And it feels almost impossible to navigate. And there are people screaming right on 2 different sides of an aisle at each other constantly. And I hope that our faith, that our community, that our church is a place where we can come together from all those different backgrounds to have serious and real conversations, but also to have fun. So, this week, we're going to have actually this whole series, we're going to have a lot of fun. So, I want to remind everybody, so every month we have a missional focus, right? What's our mission that we're coming together to do? And then also, what's our spiritual practice? So this month, I'm saying month, we closed for a week, so we're actually a week off. Right, so this is going to bleed into the first week of March, but there's 5 weeks in March, so we'll get back on track. But over the next 4 weeks, we are collecting food for our food pantry. We have a food pantry, and we help both students and families here in Blue Springs who are food insecure. And so the food pantry is behind those doors over there, but we are a little low on stuff. And so today's the Super Bowl, so it's our big soup drive, but really any canned goods. We don't do produce and stuff because there's nowhere to keep it and keeping it fresh and be able to distribute it before it spoils is difficult. So any canned goods you can bring in, please do that. There's a bin up by our welcome center. So as you come in, there's a little welcome desk, and that's where we'll put all of our canned goods and food for the month of February. Our spiritual practice is friendship, right? Big surprise. You're like, how is friendship a spiritual practice? Well, I believe being friends with people, being in community is something that we have to actively pursue. It's not something that just naturally occurs. Now, you can meet people in a natural way, right? That might just happen. But to develop friendships, long-lasting friendships, ones that my wife and I have with our friends that we've been friends with for over 30 years, that takes a lot of work. Like any relationship, it takes work. And so our practice this month is being there for each other. And hopefully, not just reconnecting with old friends, but hopefully making new friends along the way. So, how many of you, who knows what this is? I'll pull it out of the package. How about that? Okay. It is a video game. No, it's not a video game controller. This is a diagnostic little tool. Now, how many of you, when you're driving around and your check engine light comes on, how many of you, like, immediately go get it checked out? One person. I'm the same. Just fun fact, by the way. If your check engine light comes on and it starts flashing, pull over and turn your car off. That means something catastrophic is about to happen. If it comes on, it's probably not as big of a deal. Now, I brought this morning for two reasons. One, Shelly called me a few weeks ago and she says, listen, my check engine light's on. I know you have one of those doohickeys. And she goes, I want you to come over and check it out for me, right? And so, of course, it took me 3 weeks to remember to take this thing over to her house. And as I'm plugging it in, most of the time, it's nothing. And I can clear the codes out. So I plug it in, I turn it on, and it was a misfire in cylinder 1. And so I cleared it out, and it hasn't come back on yet, right? No. Shelly has no clue if it came on or not. So it has not come back on? Okay, so it hasn't come back on. So often, right, that indicator, that light, tells us that something's wrong. Sometimes it's a big deal. Sometimes it's not a big deal. Today, I want to talk about what is our indicator that maybe we don't have enough friends around us. How many of you have ever felt lonely? Probably most people. How many of you feel lonely this time of year? I do not like January and February and most of March. I don't like being cold. I don't like being inside. I have friends that just went skiing that I'm super jealous about, and I want to hear all about it. Because if it's going to be cold and snowy, that's the only thing I want to do, right? Skiing, I love. I'll go do that, but I can't move away to a ski resort. So I have to suffer through and get through January and February here in Missouri. But we have an indicator in our lives when we get to the point that we need something to be checked out. And it's called loneliness. So when we're lonely, that's our bodies, our spirit, our psyche, or whatever, however you want to describe that. That's our body's mechanism to say, hey, you need to check something. Something's wrong. Something's not working properly. And you need to dig into it. But I don't know about you. We have old cars. I think our newest car is probably 12 years old. And most of our cars, I think my lowest mileage car is about 160,000 miles. Anybody else do that? We drive them to like 300, or we drive them until they die. Or we wreck them. One of the two. Like that's, and our family has had a lot of wrecks in the last couple of years, unfortunately. But that's just what we do. And so I feel like, so I'm pretty sure most of our cars, there's probably a check engine light or like a TPMS, tire pressure monitoring system, whatever that is. There's always some light on it. And often we ignore it, like Shelly did for 3 weeks. That was my fault, not hers. So, right? 6 weeks by the time she even told me about it because it had already been on for several weeks. Okay. But I think this is what we do. It's what I do, at least. Often, you're like, oh, I'll get around to it. I'll come back to that. But when it comes to loneliness, I believe this is the built-in mechanism that God gave us that reminds us that when we're lonely, we need to start doing things differently. We need to start acting differently. We need to start pursuing things differently. Now, this week, I I read a book. It was called You Need Friends by Jake Thurston. So I read a book every week. Doesn't always work, but I try to pick books that are geared towards the series in case anybody wants to take a deeper dive. And this book was wonderful, and it's actually where I got this analogy for the check engine light. He leads with this story, saying most of us, our check engine lights are on when it comes to making friends and being in community. But a lot of us just ignore it. And I'm guilty of that like a lot of other people. Now, how many of you have a group of friends that you meet with on a weekly basis? A few. We have a couple group of friends, and I would say we're pretty good about it. We have one group. This is the same group that we used to watch Friends together. And a few months ago, Megan is our friend. Megan, Derek, Brooke, Jared, Stacy, and I. So we do a lot of things together. And it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and you need to know that Megan is an extreme introvert. She's an introvert's introvert, okay? And so when we get together and do stuff, it's because myself or my friend Brooke have preempted it. It's not usually Stacy, it's not usually Megan, it's not usually Derek or Jared. It's either Brooke or I, okay? One afternoon, I'm working, and we have a group text thread. And this text comes across, and it's Megan, and she's like, "What's everybody doing for dinner?" And I look down at it, and I'm like, oh, Megan's probably dying. So I call Stacy, I'm like, what is happening? Because this never happens, by the way, right? Like, never happens. Never does Megan ever suggest that we go and do something. It's always us, like, dragging her along out of the house, forcing her to go do something. She's an Enneagram 5, right? She's a data collector. She likes to sit back and observe. And so she has no desire she'll be around us, but no desire to be out in public and to do things most of the time. So the fact that she texted all of us, I was like, okay, Derek's dying, somebody's dying, mom's dying. So her mother is my adopted mom, okay? And so we all get together, and I call Stacy. I'm like, what is happening right now? And we get together for dinner that night, and we go to the restaurant, and I walk in, and I was like, who is dying? Right? I was convinced something was wrong. She's like, no, I just missed you guys. And I was like, who are you? She was aware that her check engine light was going off and that she needed to be around people. Now, for her, that's few and far between. If I'm not around people every day, you can ask my wife, I go a little stir crazy. Especially this time of year. Like, I have to have interaction, right? COVID was the worst thing for me. I went insane. And while I didn't spend a lot of time at home because we still had to operate a child care center and stay open for essential workers and everything, it was very difficult. For me, preaching into a camera every week was that. For me, that's hell on earth. That is my hell, is sitting in front of a camera, preaching a sermon with no interaction, nobody to be there to participate in it, right? Because for me, faith and spirituality or religion, all these things are the things that bring us together. It's supposed to be done in community. It's not supposed to be done in isolation. And so I want to challenge everybody this morning. I want everybody to think of, is your check engine light on? Are you aware of what your check engine light is? How many of you would say that your loneliness check engine light's on right now? Mine is. Like, it's been a rough few weeks. And so I know that I have to intentionally reach out to people. So in this book, You Need Friends, he gives a lot of data. You know me. You know my left side of my brain. I know the right side makes the decisions. I know the right side is the side that we lead with. But the left side is the logical side. And I love logic and reason. So I always have to give you at least a little bit. So in this book, he gives a lot of stats. So I'm the tail end of Gen X. I'm almost a millennial, right? I know we got some Xers and some millennials in here and maybe some Zers. And so the older you get, the more connected people feel. The younger you get, the less connected people feel. So I thought this was very interesting. So these are my kids' age. So 18 to 24-year-old people, 4 out of 5, 80% of them, 80, feel that as though they're lonely and that they are alone in this life. And that number is increasing the younger we get. Now, I have some theories for why that is, and he makes a good argument in the book, and there's so many things, right? People don't go to church. They don't have community like they used to anymore, right? And I'm not just plugging that because we're a church. I mean, that's a real repercussion. I understand why church has been in decline since the 60s. But these are things that happen to us when we're not together in community. So 80% of young people, 18 to 24, describe themselves as lonely. Being lonely, and you've heard me talk about some of this before, but this book reaffirmed it, not connecting with people on a weekly basis is the same as smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. Can you believe that? Now, I know this from other research and other series that we've done, because I love to read Psychology Today and all the science behind everything. When the number one single predictor of early death is isolation. It's not how you eat. It's not how much you exercise. None of those factors come in. The number one factor, and this is proven with science, this isn't just like speculation or theory. The number one factor over and over again in all fields of science are people who are isolated die prematurely. And I can't talk about that enough, because when I read that, and I read that during COVID, because there's a book that came out that I was reading, all the science behind everything, and we started to isolate, and we were alone, and experiencing all this loneliness. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's significant. Why aren't we pursuing community more? Meeting with a group of friends once a week gives you a 50% better chance at healing and 50% faster. And I'm reading this going, well, how does that work? Well, apparently, when you're in community with people, when you have a close group of friends, when you're not lonely, all the endorphins, right, in your body. The best way to get endorphins, you can do it by working out, but the best way to get endorphins is by having a tribe, having a group of people that you meet with regularly. So it can't be like once a month. Like, it doesn't have the same connection. And you've heard me talk about, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin. Your worship leader literally has the chemical symbol for oxytocin, right? Am I saying that right? On the side of her body. Am I saying that right? Okay. And so, sorry. What did you say, Jeremy? I can't take him anywhere. I tell you that because when we first met him, and I'm like, what is that? And she goes, it's oxytocin. I'm like, you have oxytocin tattooed on the side of your body? She goes, yeah. I'm like, do you know what oxytocin? She goes, yeah, it's produced when you have a baby. I'm like, it's also the thing that's produced when you're in community together. When we help each other, oxytocin, there's very few ways to produce oxytocin. Community, serving, helping people is one of the ways. Childbirth, and there's a third way that we don't usually talk about in church, so I won't mention it. So I think you can probably make that leap. But it creates all that. Also, he talks about 3 different types of loneliness, and then subsequently 3 different types of relationships that we should have. The first one, these are types of loneliness. Intimate. So those of us who desire to have a partner, right? Or desire to have a spouse, a partner in life. Like often, when I was younger, I was that kid, every time I broke up with some girl or whatever, I was just like, I was so sad that I didn't have a partner in life. Especially in the faith that I grew up in. A lot of people were getting married in high school and like right out. Anybody grew up in an environment like that where you got married young and had babies young, and that's not really our culture anymore. But when I was growing up, that was kind of the culture. So I want to be aware that there are 3 different kinds of loneliness, and some people, they don't have a partner. They don't have somebody in life to live life with, and we need to be aware of that. Number 2, relational loneliness or relational relationships. That's kind of a double entendre there. But anyway, so those are your close friends. Those are your community, tight-knit community of people that you go to in hard times. The last one he speaks about is the collective. So this would be our churches, our communities, our local nonprofits. Some people find it at work. It's hard sometimes at work, depending on what you do. Some people find that community at work, but often it's found outside of your work environment. It's a place where we can connect in, that we get to know people, that we truly live life together. And so he talks about all these different kinds, and most of you know, the church world. So let's talk about church for just a minute. We say the word community. We are a church, but we say the word community here just to try, because church has such a stigma with it. Right? And for some people, it's a good stigma. How many of you grew up and just loved the church you grew up in? I did. I had to unpack and unlearn, and there's some trauma there, and relearn some stuff, but I'm very appreciative now. Even though it did cause some pain in my life, I'm very appreciative of that upbringing and that church environment that I grew up in. And then there are sorry, I got lost in my notes here. Okay, so church. Sorry, I lost my thought. So church has been in decline. People have stopped going to church, started in the 60s. Okay, so it's been doing this since 1964. And when you ask people, especially younger people, you'll hear this phrase. You'll say, do you go to church? Do you have some kind of community? And what do they say? I'm spiritual, but not religious. How many of you have heard that? How many have said that, right? Okay, I'm going to challenge you just a little bit this morning. So now I think what people are saying is, let's first establish, I think what people are saying in that scenario isn't that they hate church. It's just that they haven't found their group of people, they haven't found their tribe, and maybe they've experienced some trauma in church. But I do want to point out that the word religion literally means binding us together, to bind people together. So often, and I'm one of these people that would say something like, I find God in nature. When I do leadership development, one of the assessments that I give people is how do you recharge? What it really is looking for is how do you connect with God? Do you connect with God intellectually? Do you connect with God in nature? Do you connect with God in music? Do you connect in God in worship? Do you connect in God through reading? Right? All these different aspects. And it's an assessment that people give because as a leader, you need to know how you recharge. And so when people say, I connect with God out in nature, that's great. That's really good. And you need to do that. But that is about you. So if our job is that we are to take care of ourselves, right? We have a great language now around self-care, self-help, setting boundaries. These are all good things. But I do fear sometimes that we've swung that pendulum so far. Because in our individualism, we've lost the collective. We've lost the community. And often when people say things like, I'm spiritual but not religious, often they struggle to not have the close community that they need. They don't have the religion to bind them together. And I just want to remind us of that this morning. It's great that we find God in nature, but the reason we exist is to what? What's the greatest commandment? To love God, and we do that by loving neighbor as self. God, neighbor, self. Right? So we've gotten much better at the self part. And I'm happy. That's a good thing. That's a very good thing. I'm not trying to negate that. To love God is abstract, right? So the way we do it is by loving self and loving other people. Where we struggle with, and where we are definitely struggling with in this country, is the loving of other. Right? It looks different. Christianity exists not just to love those who are like us. We specifically, what differentiates us from other religions is our mandate, which is a strong term, I know, but let me say that differently. Our invitation. Our God invites us to love other, and then our God goes on to define who that other is. And that other is always our enemy. When Jesus tells stories, most of his stories, he's telling a story about an enemy that everybody hates, and he makes him the hero of a story. And so if we're supposed to be together in community, if the church exists to bind us together, it should be full of a place where we come together and it looks like different political backgrounds, right? There's a reason why we have this word diverse. That's our intent, is that we are a bunch of different people who operate much differently than maybe the person next to us. But the church is the thing that binds us together. And the way it binds us together is that when we come together and we can see other, right, when we can start to serve other people, it takes us out of our own selfishness. When your community focus is only based on setting your boundaries and in your personal needs, I think sometimes, while good things can come out of that, what often happens, a side effect of that, is we become so individualistic that we forget that we're supposed to be loving our enemy, intentionally seeking out people who don't think or look or act like us. And that's a very difficult place to be. There's Jesus in Matthew 18, verse 20. He has this phrase, and it's interesting because what he says is, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I will be also. It doesn't mean we can't experience God individually. That's a good thing. We all need to learn how to do that. As leaders in our community, we need to know how we recharge, what fills our cup. But Jesus was very clear. It's not about isolation. It's not about individualism. Christianity is all about the collective. Humanity, we are all tied together. We're all in this together. Divorce is not an option. I'm going to keep saying that. I think James Tallarico said that. Divorce is not an option from our friends, from our enemies. We're in this together. And so how do we come back to embracing our religion or the thing that binds us together? Now, binding is a weird term. I think a better way to say that maybe is the thing that connects us to one each other. Now, the word binding is because, when you got married, how many of you ever been to a wedding and they got married and they took their arms and they tied the stole around it? Did you go through that when you got married? Yeah. So that's where that's the thoughts like the Old Testament Jewish thought is that we are bound to each other. But what it really means is that we're connected in some way. And so Jesus is very clear about this, that the point isn't just that we are finding God on our own, that we are collectively coming together willfully, intentionally binding ourselves together and practicing our faith as a whole, as a community, not just as an individual. This is much easier said than done. Now, I want to go back. I always try to have some of Jesus' words, some of the Old Testament, and some of the New Testament. I want to go back to the Old Testament, to our origin story. Genesis is our origin story as Christians. So there's all kinds of different stories in Genesis, and it starts out with the creation story, right, where we come from. And Genesis 1 is different from Genesis 2, okay? So just a quick reminder. Genesis 1 has a certain order of creation, and Genesis 2 has a different order of creation. And so when I was younger, that upset me because I wanted everything to be black and white. I wanted there to be a 6-day creation. And if you think that, or if that's important to you, that's okay. But I want to invite you to maybe see Genesis as more than just a literal creation, because there's conflict just in Genesis 1 and 2 about how things came to be. But if we go to Genesis 2, so Genesis 1, God created this, and the evening and the day was the first day, right? And then on the seventh day, what did God do? God rested. In Genesis 2, we see a different order. The first problem to solve that we come to in the Bible is about loneliness. When we start out, it's all about paradise, right? Adam and Eve are in paradise, and we see the creation story, and there's all the animals, and there's all the plants. And when God creates, again, I don't need it to be literal, this can be metaphor, but when God creates Adam, which means from the earth, right? That we as humans, mankind, we come from the earth. As the story goes, when God creates Adam, and then there's all these animals and all this beauty, and it's literal paradise, and something happens, there's tension. And God sees Adam, and he realizes that it's not enough. So then, as the story goes, what does God do? God creates another being. So in Genesis 2, God says this, "It is not good for the man to be alone, so I will create a companion for him, a perfectly suited partner." Now, some translations, how many of you have ever heard the translation, this scripture, "I will create for him a helper"? How many of you have ever heard that? Now, I didn't choose that translation because I believe that to be an interpretation that's not helpful. So, I know, helpful. But, so when we describe women as helpers, right, that could be used in a certain way to maybe be derogatory towards women. So I want to go back to that. I want this idea of community, that two people, that one person, right, we're not created, we're not meant to be alone. We're meant to be together in communion. So the word for what is translated as companion here, or helper in other translations, the Hebrew word is ezer. And so when you go look up, so in seminary, we had to learn all the words in the Hebrew or then in the Greek, because the New Testament, the earliest transcripts are in Greek. Old Testament, most of the transcripts are in Hebrew, okay? So we had to learn the root words, because when people translate, translation is an art, right? We talk about translation as a science, but often when there's a word in Hebrew, there could be 6 words in English that describe the same thing. So I think it's important to us when we're reading this is about our origin story, what the Hebrew word means. When we're talking about being in life together and being in partnership, because this is the first partnership, right? This is the first problem we solve. That loneliness is something that humanity struggles with. The first man was lonely. So that word, ezer, it doesn't just mean companion. So if you go back to the Hebrew, it means to rescue or to be strong. What if we talked about our partners as the person, not as a companion, and please don't talk about them as a helper, that probably isn't helpful. But what if we talked about our partners in life as the one who makes us strong? Because that's what Genesis was saying. Or to rescue us. And that one isn't above the other. So companion I like, but that in life we're to be around people who make us stronger, who we can live life together with, who rescue us. And a marriage is just symbolic of what the rest of our relationships could and should look like. And if you're single, that's what I'm trying to expand. This isn't just about marriage. If you're single, that's great. This is about all relationships. Relationships, when we're in relationship with each other, should look like people rescuing each other, being there for each other when things are difficult. We'll get into that next week. How can we be there for each other when things are difficult, when things are hard? So this word, azar, means to be strong, right? To rescue. So the next time you think of a relationship or being in a relationship with somebody, and there's always power dynamics. There's always people who are older and younger, and people like Steve. That's what Shelley says, be more like Steve, right? But I think it's important to remember that in our origin story, we are to be there as equals to each other, to help rescue each other, and to make each other stronger. Paul gives some direction in the New Testament when he writes a letter to the Hebrews. He says this. He says, let us consider how to inspire each other to greater love and to righteous deeds. Right? So Paul would have known Jesus' words of where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am. Right? Not just alone, that's good, but when we gather together, there's something magical, there's something special that happens in that. So he said, let us consider how to inspire each other to greater love and righteous deeds. So when we get together, it's probably not helpful to be gossipy or to talk about other people, right? So when we get together, Paul's inviting us to inspire each other. I mean, we hang out with Jeremy and Shelley a lot. Like, we're pretty close friends. They inspire me. They make me stronger. They are like partners to us in this life, in this worship setting, in this church, right? And it's rare. I know that doesn't always happen. That's a rare relationship. So Paul says, when you're together, that's what it should be like. So if the church has a point or a purpose, it's that we might inspire each other to love greater and to do righteous things. So the word righteous means to make things right. So when we are involved in righteous deeds, we're making things right. So who are we making things right for? The widow, the orphan, the imprisoned, the poor, the immigrant, right? These are our mandates in Isaiah. It lists all those things. So when we are making things right for those people, we are living out our purpose. And then he says, not forgetting to gather together as a community, as some have forgotten, but encouraging each other. So 2,000 years ago, or actually go back 4, 5, 6, 8,000 years ago in Genesis, the first problem we come across is loneliness. God's solution to it was that we are in this together, that we make each other stronger, and that we can help each other, we can rescue each other. 2,000 years ago, they're still struggling with this. Paul's like, you're forgetting to get together. You forget. How many of you, when you get stressed, you kind of pull away or rescind? I do that. This time of year, I do that. And this week was no different. Last weekend, somebody tore into our AC units and tore out all the coils out of them. So coils had to do with our AC. And the heat still works, but the AC does not. And so they probably got a couple $100 worth of copper out of some coils. I got that news over the weekend. I called my HVAC guy. We had to go make a police report. And I'm like, okay, I'm hoping we can just fix these. Because we're already trying to raise money. For those of you who don't know, we're trying to raise money for a new sign. And so I've already come to some of you and be like, hey, we need a new sign. The city's on us. We're out of code. We need a new sign. And then this happens. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how much is this going to cost us, right? And so I call my guy and he goes out. And on Tuesday, he called me and he said, listen, I'm sorry, but they tore these up so bad that we're probably going to have to replace them. And these are rooftop, commercial, very expensive HVAC units. $10,000 to $12,000 a unit, and there's 6 of them. So all of a sudden, this bill is $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, depending on when we order, when they come in. So I got that news on Tuesday about midway through the day, which is not great news. I mean, that is 80% of our budget, just so we're clear. Like, that's all the money we bring, right? That would be a huge, now we have insurance, but we have a super high deductible to keep our rates low. And so, just so you know, that's just, I take this church very personal, and so when this stuff happens, I get a little upset. And on Tuesday, your wonderful worship leader called me, okay? Now, I was going to play the voicemail she left me, but she cusses in it, so I can't. That's true. It goes something like this. I don't even know why I call you anymore because you never answer your phone. You remember that, Shelly? Listen, we're close. We do that. She's messing with me, right? Because I was in a meeting and I saw she called, and I'm like text. I'm like, yeah. And I'm not great at always answering my phone. I do try to put it down when I'm in meetings. And so, but Jeremy and Shelly give me a hard time about it all the time about not answering my phone. And so she left me a very fun but rude voicemail. And so I checked that voicemail, and actually I needed it because it made me laugh. And our worship team meets here on Tuesday nights, and then we go out for tacos. And so I got here Tuesday night, and I walk in, and you should know this about your worship leader, by the way. When I first met Shelly, before I tell this next part, when I first met Shelly, I'm a hugger, right? You all know this about me. I come from a long line of huggers. Like, I love to hug people. You know, and it creates endorphins. It's a good thing. And how many of you have ever hugged Shelly? Let's make this awkward real quick. Have you ever hugged Shelly? You know, we have a brick wall out here for the Friends Cafe, right? Out there, the little thing. When I hugged Shelly for the first time, I thought she did this. Right? I'm calling you out. So, because she's like, I'm not a big hugger. Because I always ask, right? If I meet you, I'm like, I don't want to impose, but I'm a hugger. So I'm a hugger, and she literally like does one of these things. And so I've come to not expect hugs from Shelly most of the time. Well, I walk in those doors, and she just comes up to me, and she just wraps her arms around me. And she's like, I am so sorry you had a bad day. And you know what that did for me? Oh my gosh, that made my day so much. I mean, even physically, you know, when you hug people, you know, there is not, don't hug too long, right? But there, no, seriously, there's a time to it. There's like I think like 30 seconds, but don't do too much, then it gets weird and creepy. But like when we hug each other, there's something about embrace. There's a connection, and I believe our spirits. There's something in the physicality, and she just hugged me. She said, I'm so sorry you had a bad day, and all of that pressure of what are we going to do in this situation. Well, it didn't go away. We still have to deal with it. At least alleviated it for a moment. It made me feel better. And of course, and then the guys came in and we talked, and I thought we had a great meeting. We're talking about all this stuff, right? We're like, I called my friend this week. I need a door, because they were remodeling their doors, and we painted the door and all. I'm like, it's really important that we're there for each other. And that can manifest in several different ways. I hope that we're able to embrace and love and hug each other. Also, you guys know this about me. I like to put stuff out on social media sometimes that might be controversial, or maybe it shouldn't be, but I'll put stuff out there, and then people will come at me. I had to block my own wife one time, not because she was coming after me, she was defending me, but I was like, we got to take this down a notch. But Shelly does this too, so I'm telling stories about Shelly because we're actually getting ready to sing a song together, and so Shelly always comes to my defense. And you know, it's great when you have friends that are actually like there for you, that are on your team. How many of you feel like you have somebody in your corner, or that you have a friend like that? I hope all of us do. Now, my tendency when I get stressed is I just want to pull away. I'm like, I don't want to be around people. I don't want to be on. I don't want to have to do all the things. And what I find in my life where that's my tendency, and when we read it in the Bible, it's clearly the tendency of people that have come before us, that maybe there's a different way to approach it. Maybe we need to lean in to our friends. Next week, we're going to talk, and we're going to dig deep into this. What does it mean to carry each other's burdens? To really lean in, to really be there for each other. I'm going to invite Shelly to come back on stage because we are going to sing a song that I think you all might know. How many of you know? I guess the entire band. I shouldn't just say Shelly because everybody's playing. Sorry. Well, you played a big role in my life this week. So how many of you know the song, I'll Stand By You? Is that right? Did I say that right? Yeah. I'll Stand By You. Okay. This is why I write things down. The memory is not so great. So we were meeting this week talking about the song selections and what we're going to sing. And the lyrics to the song just spoke so much to me. And I think, Steve, you sent a text this week. You're like, we should do this song every single week. At least twice, Steve says. And we always do what Steve says. My left brain said that. Your left... Steve's left brain said that. So I'm going to invite you all to stand. We're going to pray, and then I hope you can sing this song with us. God, thank you so much for the opportunity to come together, to God, to recognize that sometimes we feel lonely. But God, there's an antidote to that. God, and you're the thing that's the antidote, but it manifests through our friends and through those that are close to us. God, may we have relationships that reflect the way that you created us to be, which is to lift each other up, to be strong for each other, to rescue each other. God, may we live that kind of life, the kind of life that you invited us into thousands of years ago, but God, we're still struggling with today. Help us to realize when our check engine light comes on. Help us to live life, to embrace our relationships, and to be there for each other. God, it's in your name that we pray. Amen.
And before we forget, I do want to just invite all of you personally to come to our trivia next week. I want to make sure, yes, it's right after church. We're going to do Friends Trivia, and I am competitive like Monica. So we will feed you, and we'll hang out, and we'll do some trivia. It'll be fun. And I just wanted to put that out there in case you don't read an email or you don't see it on social media at some point this week.
And while we're plugging stuff, after church today, we're starting a new Bible study for anybody who wants to stay. Also lunch provided.
Shameless table plugs. Mike and I worked on this way more than I'd like to admit.
Should we tell the story?
Because I still can't get it right.
So we flubbed this. We apologize. But Friday, we were literally, I went over and we sanded that door, we painted it. And Shelly had some people working in her house because she had some windows replaced. And so we're in her living room, and we're in her music room. In her living room, they're doing all this work. And we just kept messing up this song. And this guy, we could hear him in the other room, that's working on our house, just starts laughing. And he's like, "Who are you guys?" He's like, "We're the worship leader and pastor at our church." And he's like, "I want to go to that church." So what did I do? I took one of our green little tokens and I gave it to him, right? Yes, that's right. And so hopefully, he says he'll come sometime. We don't know. But we were so bad.
Like truly.
And I mean, we must have worked on this for a long time. So please sing so that we don't sound as bad as we think we were going to, right?
As always, as I start to butcher something, just hop on it.
Oh, why you look so sad? Tears are in your eyes. Come on and come to me now. Don't be ashamed to cry. Let me see you through. 'Cause I can see the dark side too. And when the night falls on you and you don't know what to do, nothing you confess can make me love you less. I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. Won't let nobody hurt you. I'll stand by you.
If you're mad, get mad. Don't hold it all inside. Come on and talk to me now. Hey, what you got to hide? I get angry too. Well, I'm alive like you. When you're standing at the crossroads and don't know which path to choose, let me come along. 'Cause even if you're wrong, I'll stand by you.
I'll stand by you. Won't let nobody hurt you. I'll stand by you. Take me into your darkest hour. I'll never forget you. I'll stand by you.
And when the night falls on you, baby,
And feeling all alone. We won't be on our own. I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. Won't let nobody hurt you. I'll stand by you. Take me into your darkest hour, and I'll never desert you. I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. Won't let nobody hurt you. I'll stand by you. I love that line. Invite me into your darkest hour. This week, we're going to come across people, we're going to meet people that are in their darkest hours, and I hope